Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast, Conversations and Connections. I'm your host, Sandy McGregor. It is a delight to be here to bring you faith stories from so many different people. And I have the privilege today of introducing you today to somebody very special. She is one of my best friend's daughter. Her name is Emma Gamache. So welcome, Emma Gamache, to the podcast today.
Oh, thanks, Sandy. It's such a joy to be here.
Yes, it's so cool. I love our history. I love that I've known you for so many years. I've been able to pray for you. And even though you live in the West Coast and we're way out here in Ontario, it's really cool that I've been able to just kind of learn about your life throughout, the years, and that Jan and Jeff have been able to share with me or your journey in life. And it's been exciting. But I've never actually had a conversation quite like this before, where we're going to get to know you a little bit better. We're going to talk about your early childhood journey a little bit with your family. We're going to talk about your faith story. We're going to talk about athletics and Trinity Western, discipleship, mentoring, missions, discipleship. We have so much to cover in this podcast, and I'm so excited to bring this to the listeners today. Because Emma, you are a treasure and your heart for God is just so clear. And it is really an inspiration for me. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, that's very kind. I'm very excited to share and, yeah, be able to talk a little bit about my story and journey.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, let's get to know a little bit about who Emma Gamache is. So why don't we start from there?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Abbotsford Langley area, just outside of Vancouver, BC, on the West Coast, and grew up in an amazing family, as you know, Sandy, two amazing parents.
Yeah.
And then I have an older brother and a sister that's 3 years younger than me. My brother's married, so I also now have a sister-in-law, and most recently have a little niece.
Yes,
So
you do. She's so sweet.
yeah, very exciting, an amazing addition to the family. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was such a blessing to be raised in a family that
Yeah.
was so close. A very common phrase that we used was family first.
Mm,
And
love it.
there's definitely times in my life where I kind of played tug of war with, oh, family over friends and
Yes.
that kind of thing when you're younger. But now as an adult, I look back on that and go, oh, my parents knew best. And I'm so thankful for that, to
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, a family that's so close still, as we're adults and in different phases of life, and still do things together and enjoy spending time together. And that was, yeah, can be really attributed to my parents and
Mhm.
how they
Mhm.
raised us and
For sure.
the different things they did. And then, yeah, I left home for university. And so I spent 5 years of my life at Trinity Western. They were amazing 5 years. It was only about 15 minutes down the road for my parents. So as much as moved out means moved out, I still could go home and have
Yes.
meals whenever
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted and stuff. So
Kind of had the
that
best of
was a
both
blessing.
worlds.
I did. Yes.
Yeah.
It was very nice. Yeah, would have my friends over for Easter dinners or Thanksgivings, and that was, yeah, such a cool way to have my
So great.
family still in my life. And when I was at Trinity, I played volleyball as well, so that took up
Mhm.
5 years of my life. Athletics has marked, yeah, a lot of what I have spent my time doing and
Yeah.
investing in.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, 5 years at Trinity playing volleyball is kind of what my goal was, or my dream was, as like
Mhm.
6 year old Emma.
Yeah.
And so that was really special and a very, very formative part of my life.
Yeah.
And now I'm in Vancouver. So I graduated from Trinity 2 years ago with a psychology degree. We can kind of get into it later,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily using it right now directly. But I just transitioned job from working in a nonprofit that does Christian leadership development in Africa to now working in my local church.
Wow.
So that's a very high level overview, but that's kind of the gist.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love it. Let's just go back for a minute to as a child being raised in a Christian home, which is like myself as well, which is a privilege. It's a gift. It's so wonderful to have the name of Jesus lifted up on high right from the beginning. And so, kind of like with me, God has always been a part of your life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is exactly the direction you want to go. You have to do something yourself to personalize that faith and to putting your trust in Jesus. So, maybe share with us today when your faith really took root with you, um,
Mhm.
in your journey?
Yeah, it's a great question. The language I use around it now is I've always known about Jesus. I've always loved Jesus. I would say,
Mm.
I accepted Jesus into my heart when I was 6. I don't remember the moment. So I was a follower of Jesus for my whole life, but I didn't become an apprentice of Jesus until I was 22. And I think it would probably, that answer would shock a lot of people. But the moment that my faith really became my own, two things happened. One, I read a book that, in a way, changed my life and
Really?
opened my eyes to what is Christianity and what does it look like to follow Jesus, not as just the nominal Christian or someone that was raised in a Christian home and has a lot of head knowledge, but
Yeah.
transferring that head knowledge to heart knowledge and action.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that happened around the age of 22 at the same time as a friend had a bit of a crisis of faith and made me really look at myself and my own life and really analyze, like, is this worth my time and my energy and
Mm.
sacrifice? And so, yeah, it was those two things kind of going hand in hand of going, okay, I can't lean on just head knowledge, or I can't just say the classic Sunday school answers anymore. This actually costs
Right.
something. And yeah, learning to count the cost and go, am
Yeah.
I actually going to do this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, yeah, kind of stepping into that.
Yeah. Wow. I love that terminology of cost because I think it's easy to just be a nominal Christian. You can just show up, be at church, do whatever, and it's a part of your life. You love God, and that's great. But there's so much more to it. And we are to lay down our life. There's a cost to it, there's a sacrifice, and there's obedience, and there's blessing in that too. And I can relate too because growing up in a Christian home, like it's easy to say, sure, I've been a Christian my whole life, but I had similar experience when I was younger and it really was in my early 20s as well, where you start to really go connecting the dots is very different. Not for everybody, but for me, and sounds like for you too. And I was at Trinity as well. And I remember having those moments where you can just show up to chapel. You can just write your worldview papers. You can add the Christianese if you want to, because everybody's doing it. So you can easily blend in. But then there's a choice
Mhm.
that you make, that you step out and you are different and you really
Yeah.
do make a stand. And then you make a stand on very specific issues, which are really hard too. So I can relate to that. I think it's really neat how God has worked in your life. He was preparing you for those first 22 years. Like I said, all of that was so worthwhile. There's nothing wasted. God doesn't waste anything, right? And
Yeah.
building you and preparing you for your athleticism, for your discipleship and the mentoring, and then your missions and now your job. And so it's really neat when you can start to look back in your 20s and go, wow, like, look what God did. Like, look where he
Yeah.
placed me and the people. Speaking of people, do you have anybody in your life that you really feel kind of walked alongside of you and helped kind of push you in that direction a little bit
Mhm.
more, maybe even in your earlier 20s?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yes, the language I would use around that, would kind of be I feel like I have a lot of fingerprints all over my life,
I
and
like that.
so
Good. Yeah.
I really have had a lot of people mark really specific times of my life and walk with me in seasons of my life, and obviously my parents would be 2 people that have been there for all
Yeah.
24 years
For
of my
sure.
life,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
have been incredibly formative.
Mhm,
And then,
mhm.
yeah, there's been friends of mine that have, are a few years ahead of me in life or in a different phase of life. And then a few key mentors have really helped me in just my thought formation and rhythms of life, even. And so
That's good.
in later high school years, I had a mentor, Sarah Lynn Stell, who was very much. Yeah, encouraging, would not be afraid to ask the hard questions, call things out in my life that really
That's
made me
hard.
think and was yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful for her, and she's still in my life today. We don't live in the same province, so that comes with some nuances, but
Yeah.
is so intentional with checking in and being someone that like voice text, voice memos are
Yeah.
our best friend now, and
That's
I
great. I
find
get it.
that comforting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Sarah Friesen is someone else in my life that has been someone that I've leaned on a lot,
Mm.
ask a lot of hard questions to. She's a wealth of just like resource abounding of like, oh,
So
listen
great.
to this podcast, read this book, or is just incredibly hospitable to
Mm.
having me over for dinner and talking and just like really pastorally caring for me. And so that was through the majority of my university years.
Wow.
She was, yeah, very highly involved in our team and our team discipleship. So I'm very blessed to have her still in my life too, but in
Mhm.
different seasons also changes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love when I hear that women are stepping up and choosing to build friendships and relationships with other women in their lives, and just walking with them. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're sitting down and having this intense Bible study every day.
Mhm.
It's the simple phone calls, it's the text, it's the pray. And I often tell people, don't even tell me what the prayer request is if you just can't do it. Just text me, just say, can you please pray, Sandy? And I
Mhm.
love getting those texts because it makes you stop and pray, and then it's like, thank God, thank you, God, that I have people in my life that feel comfortable to do that. And so for these women in your life feel so comfortable to be able to walk with you and talk with you and show how it is so important to pray and be hospitable and to mentor other people, and how important it is to have that, the iron sharpens iron in your life.
Yeah.
Because we need that safe place, and I think you'd
Yeah.
probably agree with your generation. It's really, really hard to build those connections and those relationships when we're so busy and we're so
Yeah.
focused on inward ourselves and getting to the
Mhm.
next step. We're not willing to invite people in. I'm
Yeah.
sure you can relate to that, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I definitely have gone down the train of really believing like it's one of the things that our culture and day and age is missing is
Yeah.
that piece of mentorship, especially in
Mhm.
those early young adult years when people often go away to college and are not around their family. And
Mhm.
so I experienced that at Trinity having like the majority of my friends were out of province. And so then they don't have parents who probably have played a big role in their formation journey. And then all of a sudden, when you take that away, there's this gap of when you have a lot of formative things happen at
Yeah.
college going,
Yeah.
who can I ask questions
Yeah.
to? Who can I wrestle through things? Who can
Mhm.
hold my hand through really hard times? And
Mhm.
yeah, I honestly look back on my life and go, I know with certainty I would not be where I am today without the mentors and people that took the time to really invest in me.
Yeah.
And it makes me scared, like for younger girls and boys that are like growing up
Yeah.
without people in their life that they can
Yeah.
lean on because yeah, it's so clear in the Bible, like we're not meant to do life alone.
No.
And that easily, I think in our culture can be like, okay, then just have friends. And it's like, yeah, friends are amazing, but
Yeah.
you need people further ahead of you in life to
Yeah.
help, yeah, just give
Mhm.
guidance and wrestle through things that they maybe aren't processing then and but did process in the past or
Mm.
things like that. So
For
I
sure.
definitely think, yeah, mentorship and taking time to invest in the generation younger than you
Love
is
that. Yeah.
getting harder and harder when people are so busy.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Let's talk a little bit about your Trinity experience and how, your athletic career, a little bit about your athletic career, and then a little bit of how that kind of introduced to you the whole concept of discipleship and mentoring and leadership opportunities. Maybe you want to share a little bit about that, because somebody here might have a daughter or a son who's interested in playing athletics at a Christian university, and then
Mhm.
there is one here in Canada on the West Coast. It's a really cool. So
There sure
maybe
is.
you could just encourage someone today, but give them some insights into your journey.
Yeah, my athletic journey is very unique. I think my parents tell it best because they had the objective view, but
Of course.
all throughout yeah, all throughout middle school and high school, I was immersed in it. I chose volleyball from a very young age because that's what my dad did at Trinity,
Mhm.
and then my brother, a couple years older than me,
Yeah.
was in as well, and so I had my sights set on Trinity and then hopefully one day the Olympics or some sort of pro sport. And I was successful in volleyball, very unsuccessful in relationships and teammates. And yeah, I just kind of point blank, I was a bad teammate and I cared more about winning and awards than I did about what people thought of me and how I treated people. And so my dad was very formative in kind of putting not tolerating it as my dad, as my coach, and my vice principal. There was a lot of ways he was an authority figure in my life.
A lot of areas in your life he was kind of
Yeah,
corrupting you a little.
very influential. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so lots of, yeah, kind of chipping away at like, how can we get better at this? And so my 5 years at Trinity, I was not perfect at it still. There's lots of moments I can think about where I'm not proud of how I necessarily handled it or treated teammates. But yeah, my 5 years at Trinity were incredible athletics wise. It gave me um,
Mm.
friends that like I had book club with 6 of them this morning. Like
Oh, that's
we
so great.
still are, yeah, invested in each other's lives and are connected and it's friends for life. A lot of us have been in each other's wedding parties and
Yeah.
um yeah, been so it wasn't just an athletic experience, but it was a time where it was really formative for me to go, oh, these girls aren't just a means to an end to a championship. They're
Yeah.
real people and that's what you walk away with instead of
Yeah.
awards and championships. But I wouldn't have just said that last sentence even in my 4th year. Like I still was very driven
Mm.
to win and to be the best
Mhm.
and competitive. And so in my 4th year of university, we went on and won the national championship, which is in theory like the highest
Yes.
you can win and what
Incredible.
you're training for.
Yes,
And
incredible. Congratulations again.
thank you. But it was so unfulfilling. And it's like you hear the pro athletes that say, "Oh yeah, it lasts for 5 minutes and then you are in a pit and you're like, "Really? Is this worth it?"
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, come on. Like it's got
That
to
can't
last
be
longer than
real.
no, it can't be real." And
No.
you win and you go, "Oh, I actually think it's 2 minutes." Like it doesn't last. It's not fulfilling and it's so disappointing. And that night, I remember going back to our hotel and just being so like sad of like, really, this is what I've been working towards for the better part of 15 years of my life, and I'm in a hotel room, kind of like not happy. This is crazy,
It is crazy,
and
right?
it's crazy. And so that summer, I really evaluated because I had 1 more year left of like, is this even worth it? Like,
Mm.
why would I put so much time and energy and athletics
Yeah.
in university? You sacrifice a lot of things because
Yes,
it eats up a lot of your time.
for sure.
And thinking like, is this really the most important thing in my life? When people ask you like, oh, what's important? It's like, oh, faith, family, and friends. And it's like, well, volleyball,
What
like
about
in
volleyball?
theory, yeah, and so, yeah, I went through a lot of like mental turmoil of like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And something that was really impactful is my coach made us at the beginning of the year write a purpose statement
Mm.
and have that purpose statement be completely detached from anything that wasn't necessarily in our control. And so, if your reason for showing up is to win, it's like, well, sometimes that's actually not in your control. You can
For
play
sure.
perfect and you lose.
Yeah.
And so, being able to identify something in your life that is the reason why you're showing up. And that's when I really dove into the reason why I'm here is because I love discipleship and uniquely was given the opportunity to
Mm.
we all are discipleship leaders in some area, but to be have that
Yeah.
role officially on a team of 18 young girls and my friends and be able to really step into that and lead and walk with girls through really hard things.
Mhm.
And so my reason for showing up is because this is the space that I think God's given me
Yeah.
to both use my gifts and talents athletically, but then also be able to be a voice in girls' lives.
Oh,
And I
for
wouldn't be
sure.
able to do that if I was just a normal student. at the university.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think in hindsight, even now, 2 years out, I don't miss volleyball. I don't miss playing, but I really miss discipleship leading.
Mm,
And I really miss being in those girls' lives every
yeah.
day. And even back to like the mentorship thing, it's what I love doing. And I think when you look at Jesus' model of having 12 disciples and they traveled everywhere together, they did everything together, they ate meals together. It's like,
Mhm.
in a sense, you have that kind of when you're part of a sports team at
For sure
university.
you
You
do.
eat meals together, you travel together,
Yes.
you go through the best parts of life together and the worst parts of life
You're really
together.
living together, like, you're really experiencing life in like no other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I just think it's this really cool 5 years where you get to be so close with people
Mhm.
that you can influence each other in such a unique way that
Oh,
in
yeah.
normal life, you
Mhm.
don't usually live shoulder to shoulder with 18 other girls
Yeah.
spanning over 5 years of age.
Yes.
So
It's
yeah,
so
but
true. Yeah.
big learning for sure. And then kind of to cap that off, in my 5th year, we were back in the national final at Trinity against UBC, our arch rivals, and we ended up losing. I think it was like 16-14 in the fifth set.
That
So
was really
really
painful. That was
close. And
hard.
yeah, it was it like on paper it was hard, but I couldn't stop smiling. I like really internally, my teammates won't like me saying this, but I didn't care. I was like, I felt better after losing than I did after
Mm.
winning the year previous. And to have those in contrast so close together was such a cool opportunity for me to just go like, this past year was so much more fulfilling
Mm.
than when I lost.
Mhm.
Then yeah, the years previous of not really caring necessarily as much about as of things that carry on past a championship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
interesting because you've touched on so many incredible things, but the whole concept of the focus of eternity and what matters most, and this is all temporary, and it makes me think of the story of Eric Liddell, who he really chose to put Christ first. He didn't want to run on a Sunday, and he knew in his heart he wanted to go to China and go into missions, and that
Yeah.
athleticism wasn't the be all end all. It was a part of what God gave him, and he wanted to glorify God with it. And that's what I see with you. He's given you this incredible skill to play volleyball, but then beyond volleyball, he was
Mhm.
training you and preparing you and raising you up to be a daughter of the king and to be a leader and to disciple and mentor. All of these skill sets you take with you for the rest of your life. Like, it doesn't end. This is like just the beginning for you. And so I think wherever you are, you have this amazing opportunity to influence people in your sphere, however God leads you to, whether it's through,
Mhm.
maybe you are going to coach volleyball one day, you never know, or you're going to be with a Bible study group of girls again. You just never know what God's going to do, but you've got that experience. And then you
Mhm.
can teach them what you have learned through friendship and the focus of eternity and putting Christ first. And those are hard lessons, though. That's not
Yeah.
easy.
No,
No,
no, you don't love them in the moment, but then
no.
afterwards you're like, "Okay, I learned something and
Yeah.
I'm better for it."
You're like, okay, I've been humbled, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk forward now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I like that point when you're talking about like eternity and focusing like what actually matters in life. And
Yeah.
we had a sports psychologist come in and talk to one of our team or to our team one year. And one thing that really stuck with me was he painted this picture of a kid that walks into a candy shop and is kind of 5-cent candy here, 5-cent candy there. And then the person at the cashier hands him or offers him a massive lollipop. And it's like nothing else matters in the world. I'm just focused on that. I just want the lollipop, the
Yeah.
biggest thing in the candy
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
And the question this person asked us was, "What's your lollipop? What do you focus on that nothing else matters now?" And as cliche as it sounds, it's like if that lollipop actually is God, nothing else matters.
Mhm.
And that was so freeing to me
Mhm.
as an athlete. And have I've taken it with me now outside the athletic world. But
Yeah.
a motto we had on our team was live free, play free. And it's like when you actually live in the freedom that Christ gives you,
Mhm.
then nothing else matters and is distracting, and you
Yes.
can play with just the joy of sport and the joy of life.
Isn't that shocking to actually say to play for the joy? Because that's really what Ultimate's all about. And I really think that your transition from your fourth to your fifth year, you were actually able to lose with grace and with joy because you knew that there was more beyond volleyball, there's more beyond winning. And that's really hard when there's so many people that are super competitive and they are driven. And there's nothing wrong with that. Being competitive is a great trait, like it's a good thing, but there's that balance. And I think what you're sharing today is so important, and I hope there's going to be some young listeners listening today that are in a situation, whether the team is athletics or not, like whatever team they're on, whatever their lollipop is, it
Mhm.
could be whatever, and that you can also call that an idol. What is the idol that is
Yeah.
taking us away from focusing on Christ? But it's just really neat to see how you had so many people speaking into you and
Mhm.
walking with you, and your coaching and the girls, and what a blessing. And I think that was also a part of your journey to maybe giving you that confidence to do something more internationally. So maybe just before we
Mhm.
finish up today, I'd love for you to share your heart for missions and maybe more
Mhm.
recently where you were, what you were doing, and how that maybe connects a little bit to your current job.
Yeah. Totally. I, from a really young age, had the opportunity to travel and see different parts of the world. And so the first time I went overseas was with my family in grade six. We went to Haiti
Hmm.
to a school that we had
Cover that.
sponsored since I was in kindergarten. And so that was really cool, very eye opening,
Hmm.
just to see poverty, material poverty for the first time. And then at MEI, they have a missions program. And so in grade 11, I went to Thailand and Cambodia for 2 weeks. And then I went back to that same orphanage actually in my fourth year of university for a month with two of my teammates to volunteer.
Hmm.
So that was really special to see kids that are like about 4 or 5 years older than I had seen them
That would have been
years
really
previous.
special.
It was really, they didn't remember me,
No,
sadly, but I showed them photos and their
really?
faces were shocked. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then I also went to Paraguay with my team. It was
Oh,
kind of the capstone to my years at Trinity.
okay.
So 2 years ago, after I graduated, we went for 2 weeks
Mhm.
and actually played volleyball. It was kind
Wow.
of a sport and service trip. And yeah, that's kind of my uh experience overseas that really got me thinking of like, oh, what do I want to do with my life? It really exposed me to life in North America is really not normal. Um, and then in my fifth year of university, I got an internship with a nonprofit that is based in Rwanda but serves 17 different countries in Africa
Wow.
in Christian leadership development. And so the organization is called Kurumbuka Leadership Solutions. Kurumbuka is a word for to multiply. And so the hope is you invest deeply in one person and
Mhm,
that makes an impact far beyond just that
mhm,
singular person.
mhm.
And it really, yeah, changed the way I thought about international development. It really made me
Yeah.
think about what is poverty. It also made me think of here in North America, what's the best ways that we can help?
Mhm.
And yeah, I think there's often this like white savior mentality that's really easy to adopt. And um, thinking we have all the answers, and yet the heart of this organization is really empowering those in those countries
Mhm,
to believe in themselves and
mm,
think of like what are your strengths, what can you do
mhm,
to make a
mhm,
difference in your life, and empower them. And so yeah, I had the opportunity. I just wrapped up my time with them but worked for them
mhm.
for 2.5 years and had the joy of going to Rwanda 4 times, and so that's where I
Wow.
most
That's
recently just
great.
was. Yeah, in the heart of Rwanda and spending time, leading a team from Columbia Bible College,
Mm,
but really being able to just partner with, um, leaders and see what they're doing. And I think that's something that I really wrestled with at first of like, oh, no, 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 I want to be the one that helps. I want to be the one
okay.
that does or
Yeah.
teaches even.
Yeah.
And that's actually hindering to them and not empowering and feeds into this mindset of
Mhm.
I can't do it.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I really have kind of come um, out of this season really believing in even the future of Africa,
Mhm.
and having friends that are brilliant people, and I'm so proud to know them
Mhm.
and love them and be friends with them and learn from them
Mhm.
and be
Mhm.
able to go on these trips and not it just be this one way street, but being
Right.
like, teach me how, like, and it's equally as formative for my life
It's a great
as
way
it
to
is
look
for
at it.
theirs.
Mhm.
And being able to, yeah, take things back here and being like, they do this way better than us. They do family way better
Yeah.
than us, or
Yeah.
slow down, um
Mhm.
like their pace of life is better than ours, and being able to just recognize like we can learn things from each other instead of it
Absolutely.
being this I have all the
Right.
solutions. And
Right.
so, yeah, it's really kind of um changed my mindset, given me a lot more just like awareness to the world, a lot of gratitude for where I grew up. And um, yeah, I'm just really thankful to have the opportunity. I know traveling overseas also is a gift and
Mhm.
not always a guarantee. And so being
Yeah.
able
Yeah.
to have different cultures form you and your thought um, has been a gift. And
Yeah.
um, yeah.
That's amazing. I think it's awesome how you represent this generation with a heart of teachability. You're willing to learn, you're learning from other people, and you're going into this with this attitude of what can I learn from you and what can you learn from me, but what can we do better together? And how that's what we need to do is learn from one another and humble ourselves before the Lord and ask Him, okay, what am I doing? Why am I here? And how can I be glorifying you and everything that I'm doing and honoring you? And it's what you're choosing to do, and you're choosing to take that and then take it into your life now, not knowing necessarily where you're going to be in 6 months to a year, but God knows.
Yeah.
But He's taking all of these moments in your life and He's strengthening you and He's equipping you. It's an encouragement for me, and I hope it's going to encouragement for anybody who's listening and watching today. It's been such a delight. I wondered if there's one last thing you could share. If there's somebody listening today that might consider Trinity Western, what would you say to
Mm.
them to encourage them to maybe take that faith step? Or maybe there's a parent listening today that's never even considered a Christian university.
Yeah, that's a great question. I could talk a long
I
time
know
about
we could
Trinity
probably have a
Western.
whole other podcast on it on its own,
Yeah.
but I had to ask because I have a heart for Trinity too.
Yeah, no, I if you need one person to tell you to go, then I hope I'm the person that tells you to go. It was I think the easiest way to put it is the age of 18 to 23 is going to be some of the most formative, pivotal years of your life.
Mm,
And if you can surround yourself with people that are going to pour into you, that care about
mm,
you as a person, not just the degree that you're going to get or the career you're stepping into,
right.
but the slogan Trinity has is equipping you for life. And it's really easy to go to a university just for a career or just for a degree, academic wise.
Mm,
But what you are going to have for the rest of your life are the friends that you make at college, it's the conversations that you have at college. And yeah, it's the space where you can wrestle through those really hard
mm,
things that happen in those 5 years. I think anyone that's gone through it would testify to hard things happen. It's
yeah.
not all a breeze or
No,
easy or
no,
fun. And
no.
that's often what I go, in the worst case scenario, where do you want to be? Not the best case scenario. What are the best things about it? Everywhere is going to have
Oh, good.
places that you can have fun. But in the time where as small as you fail a midterm to as big as you lost a parent, who do you want surrounding you?
Yeah.
And being at a Christian university, you are bound to find friends that care deeply about their formation and relationship to Jesus as well, and professors and
Mm.
staff at the university, the people serving you meals in the cafeteria. Like, you're not at a loss for people, and I can't emphasize enough the importance of having really good people in your
Oh,
life.
yeah. I echo everything you're saying because I have those friends to this day.
Yeah.
There's a whole group, there's a group of us. It's just such a gift. And we get on Zoom calls. Actually, we haven't done it in a while. It's a reminder we have to get that back up again. But we're praying for each other and we're texting each other. And yes, we might be different provinces across Canada, but it doesn't matter. We have that foundation just like you have, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. They were such
Yeah.
incredible years. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Well, Emma,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here today. I think we could talk a lot longer, but I think what we'll do is maybe we'll have a part two after we find out more of what's going on in your life in the next 6 months to a year and find out what else we can learn from you because there's a lot to learn from you.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank
No,
you
but
for having me,
really,
Sandy.
yeah, happy to do it. Thank you for sharing with us today. And I look forward to another conversation. I hope you have a great day.
Absolutely. You too.